global movement right away. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the speakers to the stage. ขอเสียงปรบมือนะคะเชิญspeakers ขึ้นมาบนเวทีนะคะท่านแรกขอเรียนเชิญค่ะ Please give a big round of applause to welcome Mr. Simone Zanolini, Area Energy Safety and Environment from Confindustria Brescia, Italy. If you can make your way up on stage, please, Mr. Simone Zanolini. Also, Mr. Pasquale Spezzano.Mr. Pasquale Spezzano, could you come on stage, please? And let's give him a round of applause. ขอเสียงปรบมือนะคะ Bats and Beck experts. We are also joined by Dr. Toshiyashi Bayanaki, Director of Aluminium Research Center, University of Toyama, Japan.และขอเสียงปรบมือเพื่อเรียนเชิญคุณวิโรจน์ โรจน์วัฒนชัยผู้อำนวยการสถาบันเหล็กและเหล็กกล้าแห่งประเทศไทยค่ะ We will also have one more speaker joining us shortly online, Mr. Augustin Harte. As you can see his lovely image on the screen.And last but not least, ผู้ดำเนินรายการของเราค่ะ we would like to welcome our moderator on stage, Dr. Camilla Centino, Industrial Development Officer. Dr. Centino, the stage is now yours.Hello. Sawadika. Sawadika. Okay, then that's much better. So good morning, everyone. So I'm Carmela Centeno from UNIDO. I'm actually tasked this morning to moderate this technical session, and I learned that I will be doing the moderating last Friday. So just in case, I would really welcome a more interactive kind of a discussion from the audience plus our technical speakers on the stage. We are joined today by 5 gentlemen. I think it's not a very gender balanced kind of a presentation, but nonetheless, the moderator is a lady, so there goes.Okay, so what will happen now is that we have invited our speakers to share some global perspective on best available techniques and best environmental practices as, of course, applied to the, shall we say, scrap metal recycling in the metallurgical sector. But they could, of course, provide some more insights on improvements in this particular area.And we have again technical speakers. I think you will appreciate the varied experience that we have on this stage. Plus, of course, we have Mr. Harte who will be joining us this morning to represent the Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm Convention Secretariat. So, without further ado, I would like, of course, to introduce the first speaker.I think let me properly introduce you, Simone. Simone, of course, has been with this particular project for 6 years now. He was our technical expert working with the private sector in Thailand to look at, of course, the different interventions that the project has planned from the onset. So he is a graduate of environmental engineering and is part of the Confindustria Brescia and is responsible for sorry, I can't even read my own handwriting, environmental health and safety management standards, environmental authorization and implementation of BAT. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Simone.
Thank you, Carmela. It's working? Yes. Good morning, everyone. And thanks for inviting me to this workshop. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I've got a short presentation. If you can send it, please. Oh, that's okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's not working the title, but the title of my presentation today is Green Challenges in Scrap Metal Industry in Europe. Okay, and let's go with this one. Oh, that's working. Okay. So this is my summary. I will well introduce myself, as Carmela just briefly said, and my company, and then we have two topics. That it's a brief overview of research and reduction of UPOPs, and then the main topic will be energy efficiency, greenhouse gas emission reduction, and circular economy. We will see three case history. Well, I'm from Confindustria Brescia, which is a network of manufacturing and services companies. And I'm from Brescia. Brescia is a small city in the north of Italy. Well, yeah, oh, yes. Well, it's I can go on my side. It's a small city in the north of Italy. It's a very ancient one. It's from it traces its origin before Roman age, and it's worldwide known for the iconic race of Mille Miglia. But it's also a very important hub for scrap metal industry. I'm an environmental expert for UNIDO since 2019. Working the presentation? Okay, so we are back. At Confindustria Brescia in 2005, the main metallurgical companies of the city established a research consortium named RAMET. And the aim of this consortium is to reduce the impact in the environment for the companies applying the best available technique and working closely with a wide range of partners. I added this newspaper to my presentation. This is a French newspaper from 40 years ago that a friend of mine sent me last Friday. And they said, more or less, steel maker of Brescia, how you can perform so well. And it's a newspaper from 40 years ago. And I don't know if, as you know, but French people are very patriotic. So it's very difficult that they can say that someone else is performing as good as them. So maybe they found something unique or very specific in that small city. And I will show you what this company has become today. Well, when we first time met 3 years ago after COVID, this was the last slide of my presentation, and the main topic was the reduction of UPOPs. And in this timetable of the challenge over the time for metallurgical industry, today we will focus in improvement of energy efficiency and greenhouse gas emission and circular economy. But let's have a little stop on UPOP, first of all. These are the performances of a steel plant in my town, a steel plant from EAF, and you can see the emission at the stack, that it's with a limit value of 0.1 nanogram per cubic meter, and the average value in the last 4 years was far away from 0.01 nanogram per cubic meter. So we can say that for steel plant nowadays, emission of dioxin and PCB is no longer a problem. And that topic is confirmed by our campaign of measurement of air quality. We are performing since 2015, and the average value at our station is of 70 femtogram per cubic meter and for dioxin, and 3 femtogram per cubic meter for PCB. So we can say that this is no longer a problem for our facilities. Then let's move to the main part of today. We will see 3 case histories: project for more sustainable steel from Feralpi Group, low carbon aluminium for sustainable future from Rough Metal, and biomethane project in metallurgical sector from Ramet. The first one, Feralpi Group is among the international leaders in steel industry, with a production capacity of 2.5 million tons per year and more or less 2,000 employees. They would like to share with you 3 projects: scrap treatment, use of recycled material, in particular polymer, and the first induction furnace in Europe for rolling mill. Well, scrap treatment, as you know, is one of the techniques that has been implemented in several companies of our green project in Thailand. So with the main goal of dioxin reduction. But the case history of Feralpi is a good example of how an investment in environment field can let you reach goals in other field. So they have got a bigger scrap treatment plant. They have got sieves and magnetic tapes, and they can divide. Monitor it, stop. They can divide non-ferrous and minerals materials from raw materials. So they have a generation of a waste that is returned to other markets, and they have 2 advantages: the process efficiency, so they approximately reduce for 20 kilowatt hour per ton, and a reduction of production loss from 1 to 2 percentage. The second project is the use of recycling material. Well, we have the replacement of coal from virgin material to with the recycled material that came from. Let me just. Check. So they have the replacement of holes from virgin material extraction with recycled material. And the company was involved in the past in studies and development for the use of the substitution of solid coal in the EAF process with alternative plastic, such as those derived from reprocessing of packaging plastic. And during 2020, the experimental phase of using plastic obtained from urban recycling was completed at the steel plant of Feralpi. And this led us to have a reduction of CO2 emission. And an important thing related to this project is that we have a technical standard for plastic that you can use in EAF. So you can control that you don't let more dioxin in the environment using plastic. And the last project was the first induction furnace in Europe for rolling mill. So we have the replacement of rolling mill reheating furnace with the induction furnace. So they have a shorter process, and the main goal here is the transition from fossil fuel, from fossil gas to electricity. Because with electricity we can gain more green energy, and so have another reduction of CO2. These are just some of the projects that the company performed for sustainability. This is a chart with all the road they had in the last 20 years. And for each ESG goal, they have set up what is their baseline today and what are they target. The second case history is from an aluminium company, aluminium producer from recycling. With the name of the company is Rough Metal. They have a production capacity of 300,000 tons per year and more or less 400 employees. Their projects are aluminium scrap as a raw material, zero waste integrated loop, and integrated energy loop. These are, first of all, a picture of the comparison between primary aluminium and aluminium from recycling. As you know, there is a big difference. There are big differences in energy consumption, CO2 emission, and also water consumption. Well, the first project is aluminium scrap as raw material. As you can say, is something that every company from scrap does. But the difference in Rough Metal is in that chart. You can see the past configuration. You have transport of scrap, a shredder plant, flotation, so separation only based on the weight of the scrap, and then storage. The new configuration has got an X-ray plant instead of flotation, so you can have a separation based on chemical composition, and you can separate every single alloy, and you can have a better storage for the primary material that you can use on your plant. The second project is zero waste integrated loop. We have a scrap melting with a salt slag production. Here we have the salt slag and the aluminum gains that are reused internally, and they can separate aluminum oxides that are sold to the market. And the last one is an integrated energy loop. You know, you need electricity and natural gas to have a refining system and working. You have hot fumes with the heat recovery. You recover hot from the emission. We have the production of steam that it uses to recover the salt residue. So the power to the entire salt residue recovery system is provided thanks to the heat recovered by the company. So this is why they call it an integrated energy loop. And here you have the performances of the companies in terms of carbon footprint compared to the average of the world and the European countries. The last one is a project of our consortium. The title is Transitioning from Fossil Fuel to Biomethane, Unlocking Possibility for Sustainable Energy. Well, the concept is that biomethane is carbon neutral because you are using a closed loop of CO2, while if you use fossil fuel, you release into the atmosphere CO2 that is stored from millions of years. Advantages and the issue of use of biomethane. The advantages is that you have a seamless integration into existing distribution networks and metallurgical facilities. And of course, it's also carbon neutral. The issues are that, at least in Italy, we have current low production rates. We need to convert biogas facility to biomethane and expand the numbers of facilities. The difference between biogas and biomethane is that biogas can't be used into distribution networks. It's used just in an engine that can produce electricity, while biomethane can be used as from natural gas. And our company are working together in a first stage of the project. There are 13 companies that are working together, and this group is monitoring the market, assessing production development expected in the coming years, and first and foremost, studying the feasibility of managing partial supplies of both fossil fuel and biomethane, because it's not realistic to to have in the next years just only biomethane, but we have to handle two different suppliers. So these are the conclusion of my presentation. In Europe, we have dedicated many years to reducing atmospheric emission, in particular dioxin and PCB, and achieving excellent results. Today, the goal for reduction of carbon footprint are very challenging in Europe, and the metallurgical industry is exploring every possible solution to meet them. And the final conclusion is that there is no single answer to this challenge, but a combination of strategy will lead the company to the desired outcome. So thank you for your.
Grazie Simone.